The Whisper of the Deadly Sweets, Part 3. The night was calm in the village of Meadowbrook. Families settled into their homes, and the streets were quiet. The villagers, unaware of the ominous events about to unfold, enjoyed a peaceful evening. As the dawn broke, Tariq was already at the smithy, working under the watchful eye of his master, Hassan. Hassan was a stern man, his face weathered by years of hard labor. Despite his gruff exterior, he had a soft spot for Tariq and treated him like a son. Tariq, in turn, respected Hassan and worked diligently, seldom allowing himself to slack off. In the mornings, Tariq would start by stoking the forge and preparing the tools for the day. The rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil echoed through the village, a familiar sound to the residents of Meadowbrook. Tariq took pride in his work, knowing that every horseshoe and plowshare he crafted was essential to the village's livelihood. Once his morning tasks were completed, Tariq would often fetch water from the stream just outside the village. It was during one such errand that he had encountered the old woman. Today, however, he was alone, and his thoughts wandered back to the strange encounter. He had almost forgotten about the old lady, but fetching water from the stream brought the memory back to him. Laila, the orphan girl who often visited Tariq at the smithy, was playing nearby. She loved to watch Tariq work and would bring him flowers she picked from the meadow. Her laughter was a constant presence, bringing lightness to Tariq's otherwise laborious days. Despite being only 8 years old, Laila had a wisdom and maturity beyond her years, a result of losing her parents at a young age. At midday, Tariq and Laila would sit together under the shade of an old oak tree, sharing a simple meal. Bread, cheese, and occasionally a piece of fruit were their usual fare. Today, as they ate, Laila spoke of a dream she had the previous night. "I dreamt of a swamp, Tariq," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "There were strange lights, and I was following a trail of sweets. After some time, I found a hut in the middle of the swamp. The old lady from yesterday was there, and she gave me even more candy." Tariq listened attentively, though the mention of sweets brought back memories of the old woman and her candy. He brushed off the uneasy feeling, attributing it to the vivid imagination of a child. "That's quite the dream, Laila," he said with a smile. "Perhaps you've been eating too many sweets yourself." Laila giggled, and the conversation moved on to other topics. They talked about the animals in the forest, the changing seasons, and the stories Hassan would tell them in the evenings by the fire. Meanwhile, in his study, the village elder Eldric was searching for an old tome. Eldric was a scholarly man, his library filled with books on history, herbalism, and local folklore. As he reached for a book on the top shelf, another book was accidentally knocked loose, falling to the floor with a thud. He picked it up, noticing the worn leather-bound cover. The title read, "Whispers in the Woods, The Legends of the Witches." Intrigued, Eldric opened the book and began to read. The pages were filled with tales of witches who lived deep in the forest, luring children away with enchanted sweets. According to the legend, these witches would leave a trail of candies leading to their lairs, where unsuspecting children would meet a grim fate. Eldric's curiosity piqued, and he continued reading. The book detailed how witches could cast powerful illusions and cause children to have disturbing dreams, drawing them into the woods. Eldric felt a chill run down his spine. He recalled the old woman who had visited the village recently, selling her sweets to the children. Dismissing it as a coincidence, he closed the book and placed it back on the shelf, though the uneasy feeling lingered. Determined to ease his mind, he decided to inquire further. He went outside and saw a fisherman, Horace, who occasionally visited the village to sell his catch. Eldric approached him and asked if he had seen the old woman before. "No, Elder Eldric," Horace replied, shaking his head. "It was my first time seeing her. She seemed strange, but I thought nothing of it." Eldric's curiosity grew, and he asked around to other vendors and travelers, but none of them knew the old lady who sold candy. His suspicion deepened, but he decided not to dwell on it. He concluded his daily work and returned to his study. As night fell, the market closed, and the villagers retreated to their homes. Eldric put the book back on the shelf, dismissing it as a collection of fairy tales. Yet, as he settled into bed, the nagging feeling persisted, a whisper in the back of his mind warning him of the danger lurking in the shadows. And so, The village of Meadowbrook remained blissfully unaware of the true threat that had entered their lives, as another night passed with the eerie silence of the unknown.